What's up? What's up? This is Dred Foxx, aka Parappa the Rapper, and you're watching In Conversation with Amber Jones. I gotta believe.
Hello,
Let's
everybody.
do it.
Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. Now, I'm dressed
Yeah.
today for a very special reason. Now, this guest is probably the voice of one of the most prolific video game characters of all time. You may know him as the voice of Parappa the Rapper in Parappa the Rapper, Jamalami, Parappa the Rapper 2. I don't have PlayStation All Stars Royale, but just pretend it's in my hand. He has also sung Unknown From M.E, Unknown From Me for Sonic Adventure, you know, the Knuckles signature song. So that's really cool.
Oh yeah.
He is
Oh yeah.
this has been so many years in the making. I am so happy it's finally happening. It's finally here. The one,
I
the
love it.
only, Dred Foxx is on my show.
What's up?
Hi,
What's up, y'all?
Dred.
Hey,
Hi.
Amber
How
Jones, what's going on? What's going on?
I'm good,
Finally, I get a
thanks.
chance to do this interview with you. I've been waiting to do this for a minute. I just been running around busy
Yeah,
with things.
that's okay.
But
That's
other
okay.
than that, how you doing? How
I'm
you
good,
been?
thank you.
Everything all right with you?
Yeah,
Good,
everything's been
good.
all right. I've been planning my next trip to the States, which should be in the summer.
Okay.
I always visit the West
I
Coast, so
love
yeah,
it. Mhm.
it's been busy, and I've been doing more interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been trying to keep myself entertained, you know. But yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm over the world. I'm over the moon, you know, made up to be with you. And I showed
Hey,
you before we started recording the little detachable ears. They were
oh, I
getting on my
love
nerves a
it.
bit, so I took them off. So I'm half dog, half cat today. so that's gonna be
Uh,
quite fun. Um,
I would have worn my Scully, but I got a little too much hair now, so I can't really fit it.
that's
It's not an
okay.
extra large size, but I'd have had me a little Scully on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
okay. That's okay. I
mm,
think you look perfect anyways. I really do. But
oh,
honestly, just I'm
thank you.
just made up. I'm just made up to be here with you. So first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed. I'm healthy. Everything is good. I can't complain about anything. Uh, just happy to be here on the show with you. People
Yeah.
haven't seen me in a long time. They're probably wondering where I'm at, but I'm still here, still here in the background, waiting on the next. Maybe we can get a next version coming. Let's see what they're talking about over there.
I
So
really hope so.
we'll see what's up with that. But I just been maintaining myself, keeping myself occupied and you know
Yeah.
healthy and all the good things.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
blessed to be alive. Hmm.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, definitely. I mean, who knows, perhaps we could be coming out in the next few years. I don't know, but you know, I'm not doubting it.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone else is doubting it. I think everyone would pretty much love to see it, the character return in some way or form, whether it be in a TV show or, you know, a web series or a video game or something like that. But honestly, it's so I keep saying this, I'm sorry. It's just so good to see you because like I've heard Rue talking about you and you know just
yeah,
finally getting to talk to you and just to know that you're happy, you're healthy, you're living on the East Coast.
hmm,
It's just so great, and the fact you haven't forgotten about Prapper
yeah.
is just it's
Oh
beautiful.
nah. I love to rap. I mean, that was from the beginning, day one, all the way up until day now. That's always been a part of me. When I first started out, we didn't know it was going to be so big, basically. But when it became what it became, I became who I became. So I'm just happy that I was glad. I'm totally happy to be that I was part of the whole project, all series. We even did an album uh, called I Scream for Ice Cream, I think it's called, and
Yes,
I
the
did some
milk
rap
channel, I
versions.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, the milk cans. I did those were original raps that I actually wrote for that album. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying? So
really? Hmm.
yeah, all those lyrics you hear, that's me. With my man Rue, my cousin. What's up, international cousin Rue? He was my coach throughout the whole game. Throughout the whole soundtrack. Just he told me, "Yo, Fox, just give it what you got, man. Just do what you do." Because I am an MC from Brooklyn. I reside in Florida right now, but I'm from Brooklyn, so I've been in the hip hop game since the early '90s. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got pretty much how I got connected with the rap. Dude, my man Chris Parks. I got to give a big up to Chris Parks, who used to engineer music for me. And then one day he called me and was like, "Yo, we got a project you might be interested in." And here he is. Here we are. Yep.
That's a wonderful story. I
many
was
years
going to
ago.
ask how
Many
you got
years ago.
involved with the franchise, but that pretty much answers my
Yeah,
question. Yeah, I got them. I got them all
yeah,
here.
yeah. Chris Fox. Yeah, I got to big up Chris Fox. He called me one day because we had just finished recording some music. I did some of my music at his studio in Brooklyn, and at that time he had a studio in his home. Then he got bigger and branched out, you know. And he called me. He said one day, he said, "Yo, Fox, I got this project you might be interested in." I said, "What's up?" He said, "It's a voiceover game. I don't know what it's about, where it's gonna go, or whatever. But here's the number. I'll link you up with Masuda and the rest of the crew at Antino's management." And I was introduced to Rue through the phone, and uh, I said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot. To see what's going on." I never did a video game, a voiceover for a video game. I did voiceovers for commercials, without visuals, just commercials. I ain't gonna name the products because I'm not gonna promote nobody's product. You know what I'm saying? I was that. And then I called the company and I called Antino's management and I auditioned. Literally, I auditioned over a telephone. It was back in the day we had payphones
Yeah.
in New York, way before cell phones were really big. And
Hmm.
I just called one day and I was like, "Yo, this is Dred Fox." It was like, "Nice to meet you." And they gave me a little idea who the character is. And I said, "Okay." They said, "Can you do a voice? Can you do a voice between maybe the age group, maybe 12 years old, somewhere between 10 and like 13, somewhere around there." So I
Yeah.
did a couple of voices. They asked me, "Can I pitch it up a little bit?" So I pitched it up and they was like, "Okay, we like it." And here we are. I would give y'all a taste of the voice right now, but I'm a little scratchy voice, you know what I'm saying?
That's
I'm down here
okay.
in the South right now. A lot of hay
That's
fever going on. But the whole interview took over the phone took about less than 10 minutes, and they were automatic. They were laughing actually on the phone while I was doing it. I guess they had me on speakerphone. They were laughing, so I was like, "Are they laughing at me or with me?" They were laughing because it was like, "That's exactly what we were looking for." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And then next thing you know, about maybe 2 weeks, less than a month later, they came to New York and we all met up at Chris Park's studio. Big up to Chris Parks once again. And I met Rue, I met the rest of the crew, the musicians, and we just did it. And it started out, like I said, nobody really knew what was going on. I was reading the script,
yeah.
I didn't really, I was trying to figure it out, like, where we going with this? And, but I knew it was all positive. So all the messages were positive. So they told me, take the script home, read it, and work on it. Came back in the studio a day or two later and we started recording. And that was back in 96, 97. I'm not sure. I got the year right.
Wow.
But I know the game came out probably like in 99, maybe 98, something. Maybe earlier than that. I'm not sure. I got to do my research on that. But it
Yeah.
was, as soon as I met up with everybody, it was on. We just did it. And when I heard the playback, I was like, wow. They didn't. For all those out there who want to know, they did not pitch my voice. There was no mechanics or no digital nothing. I did the voice straight up through my own voice. They just EQ'd it a little, equalized it a little bit to make it sound clear. But everybody thinks that I pitched up the voice, but there's a lot of impersonators that would try to copy the voice, but they would just turn the pitch up a little bit. But I did it straight up with my own voice, and I could do it now, like I said, but I'm a little raspy. So that's how it all began. And then I got the first demo game, took it home to my family and friends around the neighborhood. And it's like, oh, they didn't know what was really going on, and they was like, what's this about? I was like, I think it's gonna be something big. And next thing you know, less than a year later, the rapper was born. He was always already born, but his voice was born, I should say, and that's
Yeah.
how it started.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lovely story. Wow, sounds so cool.
Mm.
Honestly, because like I am such a huge fan of the franchise. It was about 1996, 1997, the first game was
Yeah.
released.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
But there is
Sure
one thing
was.
I would like, yeah, definitely. There is one thing I would like to bring up. Now, I think I have said this to a good few people. Yeah, I'm having a look here. Yes, do you remember doing the gig at the Roxy in
Oh yeah.
1999? It might have been
Oh
90,
yeah.
99. Was it 99? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I get my dates mixed up. Oh yeah, I remember that night. Actually,
August. Yeah.
it's posted. It's in August. It's posted, and that's around my birthday. My birthday is August 9th, so it was around that time. So that was a good birthday present for me. And it's all over YouTube. It's in play. You can pull it up. I'm sure you already have it. But It's on my Where's
Yes.
the Parappa page. Is there? Um, Where's Parappa page that I have on Facebook,
Uh,
and it was incredible because uh, to bring the game to life on stage, because everybody just would know the characters and the cartoons, but for you to see the actual voice over actors, the voice actors was amazing. I mean, at the Roxy's, first of all, I'm a New Yorker. The Roxy's is well known since I can remember. That's where
mhm,
all the big people, the most important artists, and a lot of people came through, from rock bands to rappers to
mhm.
singers to they did it. You know, they was at the Roxy. So when I got the 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 invitation, not the invitation, but I got the assignment, I should say, that I was gonna be at the Roxy's. I was like, wow. So I told a couple of my people, my friends and stuff. They was like, the Roxy's? Are you serious? So it was incredible just to be on stage with all the artists. It was incredible. We had a beautiful time that night. We had a lot of sushi in the VIP back in the VIP room, and the crowd was, the crowd was awesome, and the what you call the host. Rue was one of the hosts, but he was the main host for our part of the segment. But there was other hosts that were doing introductions and introducing the whole game and everything like that. Everybody, it was just a beautiful vibe. I took pictures with people. They had a lot of merchandise there, and they had actual video. They had video games. Not They had PlayStations hooked up throughout the Roxy, so you can actually play the game right there on the screen TV. So I invited a couple of friends, and they got a chance to play the game for the first time. It was incredible. It was totally incredible, and the energy that we had on stage was nothing but love. It was a live band, live musicians. It was incredible. I'll never forget that. That was one of the best nights I performed, because as a MC slash rapper from Brooklyn, I always perform in hip hop settings, where it's a lot of this and that, a lot of different energies, a lot of different vibes, everybody rah, 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 rah. But this was more like everybody was in sync with each other. Everybody it was
Yeah.
just peaceful. It was just incredible. I love that.
Mhm.
That was one of the best shows. Well, that was a really good show. That's all I can say. That was really incredible, incredible.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely. I've seen the full
Yeah.
performance of it. I have been in touch with a good few people from the video. I've been in touch with Everett Bradley, Rue, of course, a few other people. I don't think I've not managed to reach Sarah Ramirez, unfortunately. I've not found a
Oh
good
yeah, I
way
mean,
to
yeah,
reach her.
Sarah. She started doing a lot of acting. I think she was on ER, or one of those
Yeah, yeah,
doctor
they
shows.
did a
So
bit of
yeah, she was
voiceover as
busy,
well. But yeah,
real busy. Yeah, she was real busy back then. I don't know what she's
yeah,
doing now. I hadn't spoke to anybody in a while, but I'm sure she's still, being productive, and she's still a part of the legendary game, part
yeah.
of the franchise that was unforgettable.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
for Parappa the Rapper to be categorized in the same uh, sentence as a lot of the other video games that were out then, from different, all from Sony, but even from Nintendo.
Yeah,
A lot of the games that people were very popular playing. That's what
yeah,
Battle All Star Royale, Battle Royale All
yeah,
Stars. That right there gives you an idea how many people Parappa was a part of. It's like a whole crew of us, just different characters, and Parappa fit right in with the even if it was a physically violent game or a driving game or whatever it was, we the whole Parappa franchise, we were part of that. So we was just that made history for me. We was historical when it came out of that, because a lot of people associate Parappa because he is a positive message. He's a positive artist, and his message is positive. So a lot of people think it's oriented for children, but I know rappers from Wu-Tang Clan. I know rappers from different stages of hip hop that told me personally that they play that game with their sons, and
yeah.
they know the game, and they know the words and all that. And I'm like, wow, you guys are like real hardcore MCs, but y'all still give love to Parappa the Rapper. So yeah, Parappa the Rapper didn't have to be vulgar, he didn't have to curse, he didn't have to be disrespectful, and he made history. And I'm glad that was blessed to be a part of that. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm
Yep.
glad. I'm very glad. So, going on to the sequels, were you originally from the start? Did they have Parappa involved in Jamalami, or was it sort of was Parappa added more later into the production of the game? Because I believe, yeah, well, after you complete the main story with Lammy, you get to play as Parappa, and you rap and you do all that. So that's essentially Parappa 1.5.
Yeah, but actually, Parappa was there from the beginning because there was ad libs and there was snippets that we had to do. So from the beginning of the recording of Lemmy was Parappa was right there. You know, you may not hear him as much. You didn't hear him as much until towards the end of the game or towards the middle part, but he was there from like I had to listen to the recordings of Lammy, and then I had to be prepared. Rue did most of it. He did all the writing for most of it, all the games. So Rue, big up to Rue. Yes, Rue Watabe, my boy. He's definitely get right. He gets writing credits for all of that. You know what I'm saying? So he had me in the studio with him, and he was like, "Yo, Dred, this is gonna be a not a part two, but it's gonna be an introduction of another character that was originally in the game. The milk cans was originally in the game. So
Yeah.
I was there from the start. I was there from the start. You know, from the beginning, the first part of the recording, I would say. Um, Not when Lammy was actually recording her part. I would come in and listen to her voice back, and then we would work around that. So yeah, I was a part of it. It just that was her stage. You know what I'm saying? That was her chance to shine. So they said,
Yeah.
okay, Parappa, since you put her on, since she was part of your band, just like the record industry, if you make it big, you put your friend on to make sure they get a record deal. So it's the same. It was the same thing with Lammy. So yeah, I was a part of that from day one.
Sweet,
Yeah,
sweet. And well, obviously you met a lot of other people at the Roxy. But what was it like to basically, I'm not sure if you did you meet the have you met, the other voice actors before that? What was it like to
yeah.
meet the other voice actors who voiced like the other teachers in like Parappa 2? Or have you met anyone else? Like from the second
All of them,
game, have you met any? Have you?
all of them, all of them. The only one I didn't meet, rest in peace, is Lanky Don, who did the Flea Swallow,
Oh
the Jamaican
yeah, Lanky
artist.
Dawn.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. I didn't meet him, but I met Sarah, I met Armstead, I met Leela, I met all of them that was in the game were on stage. We were all on stage at that time. They didn't come out and perform because the performance was mainly the main characters, but they were there. They were backstage. They helped out on the background vocals. You know, I was focused on the mic because I was up front man with so I was
Yeah.
mostly focused on the crowd and entertaining them. So there was a lot of things going on right behind me on the stage, but I got a chance to meet everybody, and oh man, we had a really good time that night. And if you look at the Roxy at the end of the performance, who brought everybody on stage, and we kind of gave each other hugs, and we just congratulated each other. So yeah, I met everybody, except for
That's
Lanky
good.
Don. I didn't get a chance to meet, unfortunately, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Lanky. He was one I just missed out on. I had been trying to get him for my show, but I wasn't really able to find a way, and then he ended up passing away. I think it was early 2022-ish. I'm not sure, but yeah, he would have been awesome to have on my show. I've had a good few people from the franchise on my show. One person in particular I'd like to ask you about is Michelle Burks, who was the voice of Katie Cat.
You know what? You know what? You must have some telepathy, well, telepathy, whatever. You must have been able to read my mind because I was just about to mention her, Michelle Burke. She was on stage with me. Rest in peace to her. It's funny that when I first started doing the game, the first studio session, she was in the studio session with Chris Parks at the time. So I didn't even know she was going to be on the game. She was just there, and I didn't know that that she was eventually going to be a part of the game. But yeah, she was awesome, man. I mean, we miss her a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got to meet her way before anything became. When we were just beginning, I knew her then. So we had a cool relationship, and unfortunately, she left us and she moved on to a better place, and brings a little tear to my eye because she was such a sweet person, and but we all got love for her. We always will. Yeah, she's always in our hearts, and we miss her a lot. Yeah, we do. But
Yeah.
she was awesome. Katie, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
seen all these videos of her and just I'm thinking, how sweet she was and just I mean everyone in the game was very sweet. I mean, there are a few people that I've not managed to track down actually. There are a few people who I've not been able to reach like completely. I think I actually have them in my notes. Like I know it took me a bit of digging to find Andrew Alonso, who's the voice of Colonel Noodles in the second game, the noodle
oh,
guy. Yeah, it
oh
took me a
yeah.
bit digging to find him, and also Ethan Eubanks, he voiced the Beard Burger dude. So a lot of it
Mm-hmm.
I've had to do proper detective work. So I'm literally just trying to have a look.
Okay.
No idea where that is. But yeah. So I literally have are all in my thing. Who was it? Who was it that there was one person that I had trouble getting? Well, no, two people. Okay, there's three people. Richard Bush, who was the first voice of MC King Kong, and he was also Chief Puddle in Lammy. Who else is
Mm-hmm.
there? Sandra Williams, who was Mussolini, the driving instructor.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
John James,
Mhm.
who was General Potter, and that's pretty much it. Everyone else I've managed to reach.
You didn't find PJ Barry? You got to find
Yeah,
PJ Barry.
Armistead. That
My
was
DJ,
Armistead.
rapper DJ. Yeah. Did you get a
Yeah.
chance to talk to him? Oh,
No,
okay, great.
I believe he's passed away, unfortunately.
Oh, oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
If
okay.
I should have known. I should have known that.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's
I
fine. It's fine.
apologize.
I
Family.
don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it's widely known information. I think if you well it
Oh, okay.
says yeah, it says online it was around the time Michelle died. It was 2016ish. It's not
Oh,
really sort of known unless you actually Google and look into it, if that makes sense. But yeah, it is. Yeah, unfortunately. But just thinking all these
yeah.
people, you could just easily, with the ones still around, like you and Rue and everyone like that, you could easily just have a reunion. Even if it's like over
Yeah.
Zoom, you could have it. Would you be
Mhm.
if there was a reunion like online with a bunch of voice actors from the franchise, would you be interested in doing it essentially?
Most definitely. I would love to do would we do a round table or we do what you call it when you're on stage, we do a panel. I would
Yeah,
love to do, we can go somewhere, we can all be on stage at one point, and we can talk about our, our journeys and what we're up to now, and what we've been through and all this stuff like that. So if anybody's ready to put that together, I'm right here on Facebook. You can always find me, and check me there. I'm always available. I always reach out to the fans. They know that. Fans
yeah,
know that when they talk to me. I've been complimented a couple of times from fans all over the world, from Europe to Japan to China to Germany. All over the place. They always say that most artists with a status, I don't consider my because I'm very humble. I don't consider myself a status person. So I don't need the status of anything. I just do what I do. I just please the public. But they say that when I respond to them, it makes them feel very, very good. It makes them feel good because I had a couple of people, fans. I'm not gonna say names, but I had a couple of fans throughout the years that told me that Parappa the Rapper got them through some hard times, like some depressing times, and I
yeah,
would respond back, even though it's hard for me to respond to everybody immediately. Excuse me, because if I have 50 different uh, messages, and it's hard for me to get back to them, so I try to get back to as many people as I can. And I have a lot of one-on-one conversations with a lot of people. They to this day they still call me, "Hey, Dred, how you doing, man? Yo, still I'm glad to know you." One guy was like, "Yo, if I saw you right now, I'd probably cry as a man." And I'm like, "It's not wrong, man can cry. Ain't nothing wrong with that." He said because when I was a little boy, he was going through some things in his life, and Parappa was his go to, So
oh,
I always reach any fan will tell you I always reach out to fans. That nobody really send negative comments, but if they do, I pretty much ignore that. We don't have time to be dealing with negativity when it comes down to Parappa or anything else for that matter. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
100%.
fans, I thank all the fans out there, from all over. I mean, that's sometimes I look at the where it's coming from. I'm like, huh? Where? Who? What? What? Oh, this? That? I'm like, get out of here. So international, worldwide, the rapper is, and he's always going to be in my heart, a part of me, and he's always going to be a part of the fans, no matter how old they get. Because I got some fans that tell me they play that with their children now because they were younger then. 20 years later, they have a child. 5 or 6 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, or whatever, and they play the
Yeah.
game. I'm like, wow, it's sort of like Pac-Man. I mean, certain games they just never go away. They never play out. It always lasts. You can go back to Atari days, and they
Yeah.
still got games that are popular. Mortal Kombat days. Everybody still. It's just it's just a cool thing. That people reach out and they always commend me. They're like, yo, most people are cocky. You're not cocky. I said, nah, I'm very humble. And grateful. So and I tell them if you ever need to just talk to me outside of just being the celebrity, quote unquote, that you just want to talk to Dred Foxx. Just be like, yo, Dred, what's up, man? I'm having a problem with my girlfriend. Or I could be the big brother to anybody if they need me. So they know how to reach out to me. I'm right here.
Yeah.
I ain't going away.
No, definitely not.
Uh,
Yeah, hopefully
but if
we
we
can
could
meet
do
in person one day.
a reunion would be beautiful. A reunion would be incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, I'll have to make it
Hello,
out to Florida
guys
one
out
day.
there. Let's do this reunion.
I'll have to
Let's
make it
do it
out to
at the
Florida.
Roxy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
nah,
need to,
we figure out somewhere. We all, yeah. If we got to fly out, take a bus, whatever I'm speaking for myself, whatever I got to do to get where I drive. So, if I have to drive 18
yeah.
hours to go somewhere, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
I'm open. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Wow, but yeah, honestly, I'd love to visit you, meet you one day if I ever get to the East Coast. It
Oh
would be
yeah.
very nice.
Oh yeah.
Because
That would be a pleasure.
I'm always going to the West Coast because well, I mean, on my last trip, as you probably know, I mean, obviously, I
Mhm.
met Rue. We had a good time hanging
Yeah.
out. You need to get to the East Coast. You need to come and see
I
me and
know.
Rue. We'll do a video. We'll do everything. It would just be
Yeah.
quite fun.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You
Yeah,
sent me, you and Ruth sent me some pictures, when you was out there. When you was out there, you sent a couple of pictures. I
yeah,
still have them on
yeah,
my phone. I saved them, so that's cool. And
yeah,
yeah, Rue's a really cool person, and we have a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
she told me as soon as I'm ready to, he's going back and forth to Japan and doing things like that. But he tells me all the time, he's like, yo, Dre, whenever you're ready, we're gonna do it up. Come to California. He said he's gonna come to New York and check me at some point. So we a family. Like me and him,
yeah,
we have a relationship outside of the rapper. Like me and him, we was like hanging out together because he did that. She was the most. Not only was he the writer of the whole, pretty much every bit, except for the music. I don't know who did. I know Messiah is a musician, but as far
yeah,
as the lyrics, Will. So he was also the translator between me and the rest of the staff, at Tito's management, Messiah, and all of that. He was the ones that they would say something and he would translate it to me, yo, Dre, they want you to do it like this. And then he would go back to them and they say, we love what you're doing, Dre. You tell me they love what you're doing, Dre. So we built that relationship and we both born, wow, 2 days apart. You know what I'm saying?
wow.
I think he's August 11th. I'm August 9th. And we
Ooh,
both the same
okay.
age. I ain't gonna tell our age, but we both the same age. So we had and the same. Well, obviously we the same. I'm not into zodiac signs, but we both Leos, so we both have the same creative minds, and
Yeah,
we cool like that. I mean, before I left New York, because I had to leave New York just to get a change of scenery. But he would talk to me all the time from Japan. He would call me, and the time difference would be weird because it's like an 8 hour time difference. So 8 p.m. to him was like 8. It's like 8 o'clock. Well, morning. Matter of fact, it's more than 8 hours, but it would be 8 o'clock, and it would be 7 o'clock in the morning, and it would be 7 p.m. where he's at, like 8 o'clock. So he's like, I'm on the radio. I'm at because he works in the radio. He's in radio, so he would be on the radio, Soul Train Radio. I don't know if they're still around, but I'm sure he's still part of that.
I
Um,
I think it's
but
still
he
around, but I
called
don't
me,
think he does it
and
anymore.
I don't think so. But
No,
we
he
haven't spoken
doesn't.
on that. But he would call me early in the morning, and I'm looking at my phone. I see this weird number, and I'm like, with a lot of numbers to it. I'm like, oh, that's him. So I answer him, half groggy, half asleep. He say, hey, yo, Dre, what's up? And I'm like, yo, I'm just checking on you. I'm like, yo, I'm good, man. It's 6:30 in the morning. What you doing? He said, I'm on the radio. I'm like, all right, well, shout out. Yeah, so yeah, me and Rue, we got a cool brotherhood. So I'm definitely going out to California. We all can link up together. We just have a good time. Yeah,
Yes,
videotape it,
definitely.
document these memorable moments. You guys excuse me if I'm studying over words, people. I'm a little groggy because my hay fever is bothering me, but other than that,
You're
I'm good.
fine, don't worry. You're sounding great. You're sounding great. Honestly,
Thank you.
don't. You're welcome.
All right.
Turn up the volume a little bit. There we go.
That looks like Roxy. Is it?
It is.
Yes, it is. Here we go. Oh yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
This just screams 90s. I love it.
Yeah. Mhm.
I will tell you something now. A good few years ago, when I was studying in college, me and one of my close friends, we actually sung the song on karaoke.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Is there any? There's you performing the Power On Pack. There's one where Rue brings everyone on stage. I think it's here. Here it is.
Anybody in the crowd today who was involved in Unjam Lemmy did any of the voices? Anybody in the crowd today? Sarah, Kiva, Kimba, Armstead. Anybody? Anybody in the crowd today?
And they got a few on
Wow.
stage. I think
Where's
you're.
Kimba?
There you are. There you are.
Come on up on stage. Come on.
You're
Yeah.
somewhere there. You're there. There you are.
This is. I gotta introduce everybody.
Oh, oops.
Okay.
Wrong extension.
Yeah. All right. Kiva.
Where's my cursor?
Oh, okay. Sarah.
Hang on a second.
Sarah.
I have something.
This is-
Where is it?
Lemmy.
Sarah.
Little Sarah.
There we go. Got my Parappa cursor. There we go.
And we have Kiva. She was the.
Yeah, I remember that night.
Rami, R-A-M-M-I.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier when I said that everybody came out on stage towards the end. I was able to introduce
Yeah.
myself.
Mhm.
It's really cool.
Ken was the baby.
Mama, 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 mama. That's her singing. That's her singing.
There's Michelle in
Please
the
give it up.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please try camera, mama, little.
Yeah, yeah. Go for mama, mama for 1 second, man. You can do it. Mama. Mama. You'll know when you play the game.
They gave everybody a nice introduction.
Cara.
Oh, Carla.
It was cool.
Yoko.
Memory, boy. Woo.
Carla, she did
Carla
Terry
Cook,
Yoko.
yeah.
Nice.
There's Everett there. I've spoken to Everett.
All the talented people who helped us, helped us make the sport. Thanks a lot. So why don't you all stick around and hang out on stage and just like have fun. Okay?
Yeah, and they did the song from
Mhm.
There you are. I don't know why he didn't give an introduction to you. I don't know. Is there not? Oh, there's a lovely
He did.
close-up of you and Michelle.
Yeah, he did. He did towards the end. I think he
Ah,
did.
right, okay.
Because he said coming straight from Brooklyn, Dred Foxx. Yeah.
Here's a lovely thing of you and Michelle. I need to check in on Everett. I've not heard from him in a while.
A really good
Fine.
feeling that night. The energy.
It's so cool, honestly, just seeing all these people. There you are.
Check this out. Come on and bring it down. Kick, punch, chop. I got the funky flow. M-I-X, the flower to the bow. You gotta
Wow.
do what? I gotta believe. You sure about
How many
that?
years
I gotta
ago?
believe. You gotta do what? I gotta
Does it bring back memories for you?
Oh, does it? I still have that jumper. That big jumper. I still
Do
have that
ya?
outfit.
Wow.
Not the boots no more. The boots were too small. They I had to get rid of them. Not too small, but they got worn a little bit.
Mr. Yoshida.
Here we are.
Give it up, give it up.
Here's the little thing.
And the man in the front, my man, Mr. Parappa the Rapper himself, representing Brooklyn, whole Wilderness Pack.
And they have live musicians.
Dred Foxx.
Yeah.
There was no track recording. I was all live. You know, Chris
Yeah.
Fox on the bass. You know,
And the
Sue
gentleman
on
next
the
to me who
keyboards.
makes me look real small,
Beautiful time. I got that tambourine too.
Mr.
The one he's
Everett.
holding it. They
Everett.
gave them out. Yeah, those were they were giving them out that
Give
night.
it up. And of course, our very, very, very lovely lady, Miss Mickey Barks.
What a talent. What a room full of talent. Don't know why there's a few people. I don't think Armistead was on stage. There was a few people who weren't on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Matsura. Yeah, Rodney was I believe Rodney came on stage at some point. I
Yeah,
don't
he came on
exactly know
stage. Yeah,
where.
he sure did. Towards the end, he came up. They pulled him up on stage.
Right.
They invited
Yeah.
him.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. You guys are great.
Who gave everybody a proper introduction. Even even Chris Bosh on bass. He named every musician by their name and what they do. And yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was watching this about a month ago.
Oh,
I watched it
really?
from beginning to end. Somebody sent it to me, and they was like, "Remember this?" And I was like, "Wait, I have it on my page," but it felt good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll never see anything like it ever again. It's absolutely magical event. Was it sort of styled as like a publicity event, or was it like a sort of thing to promote
It was a
Jamalami?
promotional. It
Right,
was
okay,
promotion.
okay.
Yeah, it was promotion. It was promoting the game, and like I said, they had video games and PlayStations hooked up to monitors throughout the. You could play obviously for free. Not a
Yeah.
video game. You have to put money in. So everybody got a chance to enjoy the game. A lot of people didn't understand it, but the real Parappa fans knew that it's all about the rhythm. As
Yeah.
long as you keep the rhythm, you
Yeah.
can change it up. You can do what you do. Pop, 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 tap, 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 tap. You can
Yeah.
change it up a little bit. So a lot of people we had fun that night. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of sushi in the back in the VIP room.
Wow.
And I'm allergic to shellfish, unfortunately. But I had
Oh
the
man.
tuna, sushi, and yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish. I can't have no
Wow.
lobster, crabs, none of that,
Ah.
unfortunately. I missed out on the good stuff, no clams, but I did have some tuna sushi, and it was it was a nice drive, man. And they had a bunch of merchandise that we as artists could get. They had a section just before the show started. Then we had to be there for sound check and all of that, and they had the merchandise. Take what you want. Rodney was out there. He said, "Take anything you want." So I racked up. When I left there with shopping bags full. So yeah, that was a beautiful night. Beautiful night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it, and I'm so glad it was recorded. So just every time I watch it, I'm thinking, man, wish I could have been there. It's so magical. You don't really see that sort of publicity for video games anymore unless it's like at a convention or something like that.
I was about to say like a video con convention or something like that. Yeah, but that was at a major club. They used to have back in the days of disco. They used to have a lot of people like Donna Summers, Diana Ross, a lot of people who sung dance music back in the '70s. They performed there, so that's a historical place. I'm sure it's still there, but maybe throughout the years they might have renovated it, maybe somebody bought it, but I'm not sure.
The Roxy, NYC. The Roxy was a popular. When was it? It closed in 2007.
Oh no. Okay.
I know, gutted. Would have loved to have visited that place. Does it say what it says?
There are a lot of New York spots,
It says it had been in September 2021. Lantern House luxury residential condominiums opened where the Roxy once stood, and it's Lantern House. It's all these beautiful sort of it's all these flats and stuff like that. Yeah, it'd be nice to visit New York sometime. Yeah,
that's New York. They tear down historical places to build condominiums, but hey, that's how life goes. Things have to change. They can't always stay the same.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. I've got a few more questions for you. I'd like to sort of go a little bit out of order. I don't know why, just just for fun. So a few years ago, I can't remember exactly how long ago. Are you familiar with a television show called Robot Chicken?
Yeah, and I remember they did a skit on Parappa with 50 Cent.
And they did
in the car.
And they did too. I was wondering if you'd seen them and if they if Seth Green's team had asked you to reprise your role, or did they just
not at all?
Reach out?
Not at all. That's not my voice. Like I said, a lot of people pitched up their voice for that. That's not me at all. And honestly speaking, I don't think if I would have did it because Parappa is more child oriented and Adult Swim is, for adults. And the artist 50 Cent is an incredible artist at the time. I didn't think that nobody told me. I saw it myself. I just happened. The person I was with at the time, she was like, have you watched Robot Chicken? And I'm like, yeah, I watch it every now and then. She said, they did you. I said, they did what? She said, they did Parappa the Rapper. So, I was able to find it. And I put it on my page. I think it might be going by now. It's been so many years. But I remember, but that was, it was an honor in a sense because that introduced a lot of adult people, like mature adults to who's this little guy who's hanging out with 50 cents, and 50 cents was big at that time, really huge. So that's why I said Parappa has influenced so many people. But
Yeah.
Seth Green, if he would have called me, maybe I would have negotiated or something. I don't know. But I'm happy that, like I said, they could take Mickey Mouse and put him on a T-shirt, wearing a gold chain, and that doesn't change who Mickey Mouse is. So I look at it like, okay, Parappa was hanging out with 50 Cent, and it was what it was. But I saw it. Yeah, I got a chance to see that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think it was, pretty much Seth Green voiced every single character in that show, so they obviously got him for Parappa, they got him for Chop Chop Master Onion,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a what's it called? It's like it's a parody show essentially, so he just voices everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting to know. But yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, the 50 Cent one. Yeah, I was thinking about the court one, but then I was like, yeah, the 50 Cent one. Regarding PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, well, before I get onto that, I just wanted to know what was your first reaction when you found out or when you were told that they were making a Parappa the Rapper 2? I think it was 2001, the game, the second one was released, I believe.
Probably.
I could be wrong.
Around that time. Yeah, it was around that time.
2001, 2002. Yeah. How did you feel?
I felt, well, good is such a simple term, but I felt amazed, I would say, because I was like, they're gonna do a version 2 now. The first version we was on a lower budget, so a lot of the packaging and a lot of the even the studios that we used at the time to Chris Fox were affordable for the budget we was on. So when Rue told me they was doing a Parappa the Rapper, he's the one told me. He said they doing a Parappa the Rapper 2, and they want you to be back on it again. I said, well, they can't do it without me. I mean, that wouldn't be unique. That wouldn't be authentic for you to put somebody else there. When people that already saw me on stage doing at the Roxy's, and they know my voice. So for you to put somebody else there wouldn't work. But they automatically reached out to me right away. And when the script was thicker than the first script, so when I met up with Rue, he gave me the script. It was like a book thick, like a dictionary. It was so thick and a lot of pages. So he was like, yo, just do what you do. Don't change up anything, just a little more writing. It's going to be a little more graphics. It's going to be more graphics involved because, now we made some money, they were able to bring up the budget a little bit. So I was impressed. Jammy Lam, I was also, Jammy, tongue twisted. I was also impressed when he told me about that. But he said, Dred, you're not going to be the main character. She is, because that's why the game is named after her, which has no problem. I do a guest appearance. He said, because she was part of your milk cans and part of your band, and you put her on and let her do her own thing. And so but when he said Parappa the Rapper 2, I said, okay, now we talking. Okay. So yeah, same procedure, but in a bigger studio, bigger budget, same engineer, Chris Park, same staff, they didn't change up anybody. Everybody who worked in the first game worked in the second game. And it went on all 3 versions. Well, not Parappa 3, but the Jammy, Lammy, sorry. Yeah, so it was when I reunited with them after, it wasn't but like maybe 3 or 4 years or something in between that time, somewhere around there. So to see them again, and they came back to America and we did it. We went to the studio and it was incredible. Once again, it was incredible. And they kept commending me. It's like your voice hasn't changed in years. I'm like, yeah, it's just it's my voice. I mean, I could pitch it up a little bit, but yeah, we had a wonderful time doing that game as well. It was fun. Everything is fun. It's like exciting, just to see. Big up to Rodney Greenblatt to see the original sketches that he originally made for the first game go into what Parappa the Rapper 2 became.
Yeah.
it was incredible because he started out Parappa was a different character in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then they changed him up a little bit, and I have the original sketches uh, that I got from Rodney. I think he gave me like a couple of sheets. I don't know if he gave it to me or if I found it online and printed it out or something like that. But I saw the
Mhm.
original sketch. Oh, matter of fact, it's a book for Rapper the
Ah,
Rapper book.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the book, it showed you the beginning and how he started and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So to be back in the studio with them again, and it was the same smile, the same happiness, the same enjoyment, and we had a good time doing that too. It took a little bit longer than Parappa the Rapper one because Parappa the Rapper original because it was a deadline that they had because of budgets, and they had to make sure it was out at a certain time by Christmas. They wanted to be ready for Christmas, so they wanted to make sure it was out so that it could be in your Christmas stocking that year. But Parappa the
Yeah.
Rapper 2 came out a little when the weather was a little warmer, so it came out and they promoted that just as well as they promoted the first one, and they might have
Yeah.
actually promoted it even more, because they had and but I remember the first Parappa the Rapper commercial for the first game was on national television. And one day I was at the time I was living with my mother because I was young, younger, and I'm on my own now. Obviously, I'm a grown man,
Yeah.
but my mother said you might want to see something. I don't think I was in the kitchen and I heard this thing, and she said, "Come here, is that you?" And I looked, and it was a commercial with him in the car. That's the first commercial where he's getting his driver's license. Turn to the left and turn to the right because she remembered when I let her hear the demo and everything. She said, and I dropped what I was doing in the kitchen. And I was like, huh? But by the time I got there, the commercial was almost over. So I waited all day. I ain't gonna front. I stayed on that channel. I think that they're gonna play the commercial again. Obviously, they always repeat commercials. And sure enough, it came on later than that. And I got a chance to record it on a VCR tape. A VCR tape. All right, not a digital, a regular VCR, old school 1980s type. I had that on video. I don't know where it's at now. It's probably in my storage, but yeah. So that was the first commercial. But then when Parappa the Rapper 2 came out, I started seeing people were sending me posts from Antino's as well as the management team as well as fans. They were sending me pictures, little snippets and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is going to be bigger than the first one. So yeah. So. Mhm. So that was the same thing. It's incredible. And then when I saw the packaging, I was like, wow, because
Yeah.
the original rapper came in a small little CD shape disc, the
Yeah.
small little square, one, right?
Yeah.
hmm
Things.
Yeah. And then when Parappa the Rapper came out, it was like a book, like it was a bigger version. And I was like, okay, all right, budget is. I'm sure you're gonna pull it up. There you go.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
the front doesn't stay in that well, unfortunately. So I'm gonna sort of like push it in. There we go. That's doesn't really stay in that well, so I don't really, just like leave it like that. And then yeah, they got thing to the sort of like the PlayStation 2 design. So that's so it's like that. That's a bit
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. I love the designs for the
Yeah.
it's probably
Yeah.
green black, like his art is just it's just
Yeah.
like
It's
all the little
incredible.
things. Parappa's dad, you've got the little tick from the TV commercial that they all sit around and watch. You've got the couch in the house. You got the noodles. You got the burgers. You got the alien from the Stage 3 song.
Yeah.
It's just all these
It's a
little
whole collage. A
yeah,
whole
all these
collage
little
of
references.
all the elements. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I love it honestly. I love it honestly. Um, Now I know we spoke a little bit about this on the phone. About the Parappa anime. Now, I was going to ask you, have you seen it and what are your thoughts on it? But I remembered that I think they did ask you if you'd be willing to do voice Parappa in that. I'm not sure. What was your experience with the anime that they released, the one for TV?
Well, actually, uh, Rue told me before they started doing it, they were going to be doing uh, anime, a cartoon in Japan. He said, but he didn't think they were going to use me because of the language barrier. Uh, I can't really remember, but I wasn't a part of that, not at all. I wanted to be, but at the time, I think uh, somebody else invested in that cartoon. Obviously, somebody else invested in that cartoon, so they wanted to bring in their own people. So I felt a little, not hurt or anything. I didn't get hurt over stuff like that, but I felt a little left out, you know. But Rue had told me, he said they doing a cartoon, but I don't know if he's gonna be a part of it. He's gonna be
Yeah.
honest with me. He's not gonna make me believe that's something that's not gonna be. But I didn't take it. I saw it, and it was okay. I'm not knocking the creators or anything like that. But I thought it would be more. I don't know. I don't know. I guess just the writers and it was a little as a cartoon coming from a video game to a cartoon, just like Sonic the Hedgehog or anything else like that. It's hard to associate the game with the cartoon because of the script and the language and the verbal verbiage. So I kind of looked at it like, okay, this is something that they're doing for the kids. I'm assuming a Saturday morning cartoon. But I have some episodes I downloaded and I have them on my Whisper Rapper page. But I didn't take it. I didn't offend it or anything like that. I just figured, sometimes they'll take one thing and make it into another, and that happens with anything. It's like remixing a song. If somebody does an original song, or if even in the hip hop game, when you sample somebody's music, like back in the day, you used to sample beats from James Brown and different people, and they would get a little upset because the original is theirs, and they want their money for that. So you have to pay them, you have to pay their royalties and all of that like that. So I'm being in the music industry since the early '90s. I was just used to people just moving on. You know what I'm saying? And taking a product, but as long as they didn't do anything damaging to the franchise, that's all I was concerned about. Because I said if it's going to be on some negative energy, or it's going to be on some kind of adult film, just playing off of that character, like he's doing things he ain't supposed to be doing, I might have got offended. But I'm not creative. I'm just a voice. So if anybody would get offended, it would be Rodney, because that's his creation for you to take it and taint it. But they did a pretty decent. They did a good job as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I would love to be a part of that, but I would have had to live in Japan or spend a lot of time in Japan while they were doing that. So I think that's another reason why Rue kind of let me know ahead of time, like if you would have to come out there, like give up your job, because I had a regular job at the time. Like, this is a side gig, as far as it's my art is my career, but I was an art teacher. So for me to just up and leave the board of education and say, well, I'm going to be leaving to go to Japan, I probably wouldn't have had a job when I got back. You know what I'm saying? So I think it all worked out. I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't.
Not about the influence. They can income and all they want. Decline it. Goodbye. I'm not going to interrupt. Sorry. Yeah, I should have put it on Do Not Disturb.
That's fine, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the anime didn't get an English dub. It's all of the episodes are on YouTube, but they have English subtitles available. But I don't think we'll see an official English dub of it sometime.
No, I don't think so.
Unless someone makes one,
If they, I mean, I don't know if they would decide to do it now because it's been so many years. But if they want to bring it to America and they want to do the actual American without the subtitles, then I'm here. Everybody can find me. And if you can't find me here, you can contact Messiah. You can contact. They all have my contacts. Maybe Rue, anybody who I've worked with, they know where to find me. So I searched him on Facebook, but I couldn't find him. And they might say, well, maybe he spelled his name wrong, or and once you click on, this is what he looks like. He's got dreads, and if you read his little bio underneath it says voiceover artist, voiceover actor, Sony. That's when you know that's the guy you're looking for. And that's how I got the Knuckles when I did the Knuckles rap.
Yes, I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, they found me on that. Yeah. Okay. Good. Next question.
Yeah, because I didn't make the connection that it was you up until a few years ago, and I think that's really cool. So was that? I'm presuming that was after Parappa, because I think Sonic Adventure was like 1998. I think I used to have it on Dreamcast, but not anymore. I have it on my Xbox though. It's a really good game. But so that's so cool, and obviously you're credited like again because it has been reused in like different Sonic games, which is quite cool. But what about PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale now. I'm presuming that was like 10 years. It'd been 10 years since the last Parappa game. What was it like to sort of get the
Yeah.
call to say,
Uh-huh.
we have Parappa in this fighting game. Do you want to voice it, or we'd like you to? Did you have to audition, or did they directly ask you?
No, I didn't even have to audition for that one. I got an email from I don't want to mispronounce names or I forget names, but he called me. He said, "I'm putting together Battle Royale. I want you to be a part of it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I contacted Rue and I said, "Yo, Rue, is this official?" Because it wasn't Messiah and then who did PlayStation All Star Royale.
Yeah.
The guy who put that together was somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked Rue, "Is this legitimate?" And Rue was like, "Yeah, but I don't know. They haven't contacted me." Meaning him, in contact Chop Chop Onion at that time. So he
Yeah.
said, "Well, check it out." I said, "But is it?" He said, "It's the Sony. It's the Sony. All the artists or the video games on Sony, so it's legitimate." Because I didn't know if it was legit or if it was some little knockoff or something like that. And I did that. I emailed the guy back, gave me his phone number. I called him. Forgive me for forgetting his name, but
That's
he called me
okay.
back and he's like, "This is how we're gonna do this." And I said, "Okay, I'm with it." So he told me it's going to be in Midtown Manhattan, once again, one of the studios there. And I have a daughter who's she's 23 years old now, but at the time she was mm, about 9, maybe 8 or 9, somewhere around there. I took her with me because we recorded it on her birthday. Her
Oh
birthday,
wow.
one of the sessions was on her birthday, which was August 1st of that year. Um, so I had her for the day to do it, and I said, "Yo, you come with me to the studio." And she said, "Oh," because she know what I do. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Wow, I would love to. I want to go, Dad. I want to go." So we're gonna go, and then after that, we're gonna go do some shopping. We're gonna hang out and go get something to eat. So we went to the studio. I went in the studio with my little baby girl with me, and introduced her
Oh.
to the guys, and they were like, "Oh, she's so cute," or whatever. So while I was recording, she was actually in the booth with me, sitting
Oh.
down
Mm-hmm.
right next to me, and she
Wow.
was bringing me water in between my when I was taking the break from. She was my water girl, not the water boys, water girl. She's like, "Hey, Daddy, drink some water." I was like, "Thank you, baby. Have a drink." So that's also on. I got snippets of that where you don't hear, you just hear my response. You don't hear what's going on. You just hear what I'm saying through the headphones because everything's coming through the headphones. So you just hear it. But that's another uh, project that I was impressed by. And when he called me, I was like, I'm willing. He said, "Are you the real?" He asked me, "Now, are you really Dred Foxx?" Or I said, "Yes, I'm in." I got people that could verify that. And he said, "Okay, meet me at the studio such and such time." And I was in there. Saying it took me about, I think we did 2 sessions. Each session was maybe about 2 hours. So I did about 4 hours recording time because I'm good at recording. I go in, I get the script prior to, but at that time I got the script right in front of me. So he was like, "Can you need some time to read over it?" I said, "I got this." I took about 10, 15 minutes. He said, "You can go line for line. You can do it like that, do it like that." I
Mm-hmm.
said, that'll work. So, you know what I'm saying? So I did it like that. And my baby girl got a chance to see her daddy doing his thing. And she probably went back to school and told all her little friends, my
Oh,
daddy." So, and then after
that's so
that, we
sweet.
went out and had a nice time. I think I took her to Red Lobster restaurants, one of the restaurants that she likes. And we had a good time. So, yeah. But um, to be a part of that, because when I first saw the one-dimensional animation against the three-dimensional animation, I was like, "How is
Yeah.
this going to fit? It's gonna seem it's gonna look a little." It didn't. When I saw the finished product, I was like, "Wow, they did a good edit. The way they did it. And that was fun. It was fun too. But I didn't, like I said, it wasn't the crew that I was used to. These are strangers that I didn't really know. So it was strictly business, but it was a pleasurable business. It was pleasurable. It wasn't like, "Oh, I got to do this," and they're giving me a hard time because one thing about me, my work ethic as well is up to par. So if you tell me do
Yeah.
something, I do it. I don't be slapping. "Oh, I need to take a break. Oh, I got to step outside." No, let's just do this, get it over with, and I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cut the check and I'm
Yeah.
gone. So yeah, but that was another good experience. Yeah,
Oh.
and the Knuckles was the same thing. I got an email from uh the creator, one of the the designers or creator, whatever, of that Knuckles, that version, he called me the same thing. He said, would you be willing to do a rap? And I said, what kind of rap? He said, but Knuckles. And I said, okay. And I got that too. So it was different because he wanted a raspy, hardcore voice. And if you listen to the lyrics of Knuckles, he's hardcore because he's supposed to be a tough guy. Those are my original lyrics. Everything that you hear me say, I wrote that right there in the studio, literally in the studio. He showed me a picture of Knuckles, a cartoon, a sketch. He said, "This is." I knew what Knuckles was anyway, but I thought he wanted me to like do a more clearer voice, like make it seem like playful. He said, "No, I want you to do it aggressive." Because when I first did it, he was like, "You make it more aggressive." Knuckles is a tough guy, and that's where you got the blow thrower, the underknower. I had to make the raspberries for that,
Yeah.
And that's another project that only took a couple of hours for me to go in the studio and do that because, like I said, just give me when they said you write the rap, you do it. I said okay. Sat down, put my headphones on, listened to the beat that they were playing. I had it play back in my earplugs. I actually got headphones back then, or earbuds, I should say. And I wrote it, and I was like, I kept rewinding it. I was like, and when it was time to record it, I think I did 2 takes, and it was done. First time I stumbled over a couple of words, and I had erased because some of the words didn't fit with the timing of the beat. So just like when I write regular music, I write before I hear the beat. So when I do hear the beat, then it's like, okay, you got to take, that's too many words. You got to take that word out or whatever, And yeah, that's that. So I got, just my name alone got me, the recognition of Dred Foxx and my work ethic, and I was able to do those projects,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it like working with Marlon Saunders?
Actually, I didn't work with him.
Oh, did you not? Oh, right.
No, his voice was put on after. Actually, they placed my rap with him, but he gave me a shout out. Like when it first came, he emailed, Facebook me. One of the, I think it was Facebook. No, it had to be Facebook because I don't have TikTok. TikTok wasn't even out then. But he Facebooked me and said, "Yo, I'm doing the song with your I'm using your voice." So I was like, "All right, as long as it's a positive song, we cool." You know what I'm saying? And that was it. I didn't even ask for no, I didn't ask for anything behind that. It's like you could just use it. It's like 16 bars, and he chopped it up. He used the same bars, the same 16 twice in the song. And when he sent me a copy of it, Marlon Sanders, he sent me a picture of him. He sent me it, and he said, "Do you mind if I use this lyric?" And I was like, "Go ahead, you could use it. It's copywritten." You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't stressing like, oh, I need to get royalties or something. Like I said, I'm very humble. To me, that's promotion. That's promotion. And sometimes a check is not worth the promotion because when you get a check, you get a check. When you get promoted, people say, wow, he did this and he did that. It looks good on your resume or your discography, I should say. So I looked at it like that. And I was like, okay, cool. But long as it's not nothing negative, no curse words or anything like that, because if that's the case, I'd have to get my lawyers on that. We gotta get my name off that because I don't want to be associated with that. And then people were like, "How can you do Knuckles and that's not Sony?" I said, "It doesn't matter. Voiceover actor is a voiceover actor. You don't ask an actor in Hollywood why they doing different characters and under different franchises or under different. You don't ask this person or Denzel Washington why he's doing this, why he's with Spike Lee today, and he's with another Columbia Pictures. It doesn't matter. An actor is an actor. And the singer is a singer. If you want a guest appearance on your record, they're on another label, they get courtesy of. Such and such appears courtesy of Virgin Records or whatever label you're on at the time, So I look at it, like I said, promotion and people like it. I get likes for that. I get thumbs ups and all that good stuff. So, that's just another part of being an artist.
It is what it is.
And get out there. That's what it is.
Dred, now I know you spoke a little bit about your daughter before. How many children do you have?
Just one.
Just one. Okay, you just have one daughter. So
yeah.
did she grow up playing Parappa the Rapper, or what? Or like, what was it? Actually, what was it like when did she sort of click on that? Oh yeah, my dad is Parappa the Rapper.
Actually, she's not a video gamer at the time. She
Mm.
was young, so we played a couple of times. I tried to show her how to play it, but she was more happy that her daddy was somewhat famous, but she's
Oh.
not a gamer at all. So we played a few
Ah,
times.
right.
Uh, I try to play Lammy with her, and you know, she like I said, she's not a gamer. She's more into art, different types of arts. You know what I'm saying, like drawing and stuff like that. So yeah, but she never got a chance to really enjoy. Like we play like hours at a time because I never really play hours at a time myself.
Yeah.
Because when you not the income, say goodbye. When you it's like listen to yourself on a record or listen to yourself on a television show. It's kind of like, it's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I used to play like maybe I'm not a gamer, so I never spent like 5 or 6 hours on games. I played for maybe an hour or two, and then I was it. So we played a couple of times. We played all three versions actually, but you know, she was more into girly things, I guess you could say. You know,
Yeah.
like into whatever the young
Yeah.
ladies at the time were into.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah.
acknowledges it, and she knows. And I'm sure like I said, I'm sure she went back to school and told all her little friends. You know, but I did play
Yeah.
with some little cousins.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, back then, and I played with some adults as well.
Yeah.
Couple of my homeboys, a couple of my friends. We played. Uh, a couple of females I played with, like, that I was dating at the time. Uh, and everybody just thought it was adorable. But I think it's when you know the person does it, who does it, whether they're actor or actress or uh, when you know them, it's like it's not that
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? It's not that I wouldn't say exciting. It's like I know him, so they're used to it. They're used
Yeah.
to it, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's him. Like they're happy for you, but it's not like a stranger. It's like wow, wow, because they know who you are and how the whole stage of how everything. But yeah, I got a
Yeah.
chance to play when I taught art. I retired from that. When I taught art in school, I would bring the original game to school, like
Oh,
in the
cool.
after school center,
Yeah.
so that kids could get a chance to play. But a lot of them had it already. So I would tell them like, okay, Friday we have a video game day. You bring your video games in. I'll bring my PlayStation in. I talk to the principal and people in charge, and they said, okay, no problem, but no violent game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing that's violent.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, we
Yeah.
can. So I would bring to rap and let them play. For they get a little hour to play video, and then we got to get back to whatever we was doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. Um, Aside from Rue, are you in touch with anyone else from the game, whether it be any of the other voice actors or anyone from the anyone from behind the scenes crew? Are you in touch with anyone else?
Not really. I mean, me and Chris Fox talk. Me and Messiah, we talk on Facebook. I always wish them happy birthdays. Always check on them and see how they're doing. But
Ah,
as far
okay.
as the other artists in the game, I never got a chance to really hang out with them like that because once the studio lights go out, everybody goes a separate way. A
Yeah.
lot of them weren't gaming. They weren't gamers, and neither was I. So it's like we didn't have that uh, relation when it came down to let's go play video game at my house or something like that. They go home to their family, their husbands, their wives, boyfriends, their girlfriends. So yeah,
Yeah.
but me and Rue, because Rue does hip hop too. He was also into hip hop. He would do his own thing too, and he hosted the Soul Train Radio, which was hip hop. So
Yeah.
that's how me and him always connect. You know what I'm saying? We always had something. We always talked about the latest artists, how we feel about their lyrics and stuff like that. So yeah, but if we could do this reunion, that would be nice. I would like to see everybody again. You know, other than
Yeah.
that, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah. I'd love to make that happen, even if it's over Zoom. It would be very nice. Maybe I cook up something for the 30th anniversary of Parappa next year. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that would
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
That would work.
definitely.
I missed all the anniversary. I missed the 25th anniversary because I wasn't able to go where it was at. Because I know they had a lot of events in Japan around that
Ah.
time. And I saw on Facebook people in an actual costume. And
Yeah,
walking around, taking pictures of people. I wanted to be one of those guys in costume. But
that
like I
would be
said,
cool.
I don't. I don't just do voiceovers for a living. You know, I have to make a living. I can't just up and
Yeah.
leave. Even with vacation time, you get a week off or whatever. You got to spend time with your family. I can't just be like,
Yeah.
oh, but if I was more 85% of voiceover actor or 90% of voiceover, then it's easy for me to say, okay, I'll come back to that job. I really don't need it because when I go over here, I'm going to make money. I'm going to make a living over here, over here, over here. But, you know, even with my hip hop music, I still had a day job and I would
Yeah.
perform clubs at night. But I never just said, oh, I'm going to give up my job and just become a rapper and try to be rich and famous because I do conscious hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I don't do the street mentality, the murder, kill. I don't do that kind of hip hop. I do uplifting music. And in the music industry, uplifting and conscious music it doesn't sell as much as the other types of hip hop, you know, and rap.
Yeah.
So like I kind of fell back. So I put out some independent music by myself and did some things on my own and performed. But right now, I put the pen down for a second. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really writing, hip hop lyrics right now. I mean, I can still write for people if they want me to, but I'm not trying to really perform right now. But if somebody pulls up some of my old music and they want me to perform, I definitely, because I came out in 1994, way before Parappa. So I was on Atlantic Records. I was signed to a couple different independent labels as well. And
Yeah.
those songs are still in rotation. So if there's ever like a reunion and somebody says, oh, see if we could find this guy who did this song back in 1995, let's have a reunion of all the rappers from that era, then you could find, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there.
Yeah.
I'm focused on other things right now, but I definitely want to get back into the voice. I want to continue with the voice over acting. Definitely. Like I said, I did commercials for products, but I didn't have to pitch voices. I just had to do regular voice, like customer voice. Oh, I love this product. This is great. That kind of thing. So that helped pay some bills too. But
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I live a humble life. You know what I'm saying? I got a regular car. I'm not a celeb. If you see me in the street, you wouldn't believe that I was a rapper. When I tell people, they're like, "You can't be serious. Why you don't look?" I say, "I'm not a flashy person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rich and famous. You know what I'm saying? I'm just famous. You can keep the rich part, but if I could just have fame, that's all I care about. Really, the money comes and money goes. But when you make an impact on people and you change lives through what you've done with your voice or with your visual arts as well as musical, anything you do artistic and you can change ways and change ideas, that's all I'm here. Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Which actually brings me to the question of what are you up to nowadays? Are you still doing the DJ stuff, by any chance?
Yeah. I'm about to get back into DJing again. I'm going to do a lot of old school. Yeah, I started out as a DJ, then I started doing rap. I started writing lyrics, but I was a DJ for a rap group back in late '80s. So we did a lot of shows. I don't know if you heard of It Takes Two to Make Your Things Go Right.
Yes.
When he first came out, I performed with him. I performed with all these guys that are now still have records out that they can still perform. So the Big Daddy Kanes and all the old school artists. We were underground rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was at underground clubs. And, even the Most Defs and the people of that Barrel Monch, these kind of guys, they all started out in like small places, including Eminem. The rapper Eminem. We all started, everybody, but some people just took it to a different level. But I always was a DJ, so I want to get back into DJing, but I want to do classic DJing. Now, I'll do gigs at private settings and personal things like that. I don't want to do arenas or anything like that. But I want to do like 70s parties, a tribute to the 70s, 80s, that kind of the mature audience, you know what I'm saying? So that. But I'm from the old school where we use two turntables in the mix. Now everybody has a CD and they mixing those. So it's like I'm trying to take it back to, but I would have to collect records and go through all of that. I lost all of my record collection as I was growing up. But I want to get back into DJing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a visual artist. I still draw, still do graffiti, characters, cartoon characters, stuff like that. So right now I'm just kind of just mellowing out right now. Had to go through some life changes and entertainment for me is not my main focus anymore. Like as far as being on stage and performing like I did back in the days, as you get a little older, you want to do little different things and give the new generation their time to shine. Let them get on stage and do what they do. And the music
Yeah.
industry is a little, is a little unbalanced right now. So I think I'll just fall back. But I live a decent life. I got decent income coming in, and I'm very humble. I drive a regular car, like I said. I'm not flashy, but got some dollars in the bank, and
Yeah.
I think that's all I'm concerned about right now. And my
Yeah.
daughter is she's a student now, but she's a dialysis nurse. Uh, and then she went back to nursing school. So I'm supporting her. I want to see her succeed in what she wants to do. You know what I'm saying? And just support her and help her buy her first car and all that stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
want to play the daddy role and do it like that. But other than that, I'm
Oh,
cool.
you're a good
Yeah,
father. You're a good father.
thank you. I
You're
try to.
welcome. Now, I thought I would end off this interview with a few fan questions. Now, I did ask around. I asked around on the Parappa Reddit subreddit and on the I've asked around on Reddit and Discord and stuff, and I've got a few questions from a few fans. For clarification, if I don't answer your question, then it's probably already been answered in the interview, or it's been sort of a similar thing has already been asked by myself on this interview.
Okay, and, and
Uh,
and for clarification on my side, I don't want no trolling questions. I don't want no negative. I know you're not gonna. I know you're gonna cipher it
oh
out and
no.
see what. Because I don't want nobody saying, "What are you doing now? What's your life like?" You ask me questions about stuff, but don't ask me why I didn't do this or why I did. I don't need the
Oh yeah.
negativity, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
what the
that's
internet is all about now. They want to dog. Oh, I never liked that game anyway. It's corny. I don't want to hear all that. So
yeah.
yeah, get me with the question. I got you.
That's okay. Anthony wants to know, do you have a favorite video game besides Parappa?
Oh wow. Um, hmm. I'm old school video games, to be honest. Like I'm talking like the I wouldn't say wow, that's a good question. Um I used to like a lot of Nintendo games back in the days. So I played a lot of games like from the late 80s all the
Yeah.
way to like the early 90s. So like, you know, I liked Zelda at one time. I was into Zelda at one time and then I kind of outgrew that. So I don't really have a favorite. I just like classic games. You know what I'm saying? I don't like violent games that shoot up people and run people over in cars and stuff like that. So not to knock that, that's what you're into. But I don't really have a favorite right now. I like old school games. If you think of something that came out in the early '90s, late '90s, yeah, I can probably say like But I still play Miss Pac-Man. I still play like some of these games. This generation won't
Yeah.
even know what I'm talking about. But people of my age group know what I'm talking about. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really have a favorite. But Parappa was one I played a lot. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He also wants to know what your favorite song is.
My favorite song
Yeah. Didn't specify, just said favorite song.
does it have to do with a video game or just in general?
Any kind?
Uh,
I'm not sure.
I like my favorite song. Wow, I don't really. That's a tough question. Uh, I like classic hip hop, like the LL Cool J's, the Run DMC's, MC Light, Queen Latifah, uh, you know, that era, when it was a different time. So at this right now, my favorite song I would say is hmm, wow. It's it's kind of weird, but "Take Me to the King," uh,
Hmm.
the song by Tamala Man, "Take Me
Yeah.
to the King." It's a song about the Most High. That's probably one of my favorite songs. I like to listen to. I like to listen to like mellow music, but if I do listen to hip hop, it's hip hop from between the years of 1988 up until about 1995. So anybody within that time. The most I like most Def, Pharoah Monch, Talib Kweli. Uh, it's so many that a lot of young generation probably wouldn't even know what I'm talking about until their fathers play the record and like, Daddy, what's that? It's like, but uh, KRS-One, Public Enemy. I mean, I like Ice Cube at one time. These guys like back then. So I would say old school hip hop is my favorite.
Awesome.
Old school
That's a
hip
good
hop.
answer.
When I,
That's a good
when I say old school, okay, DMX. DMX is he's one of my favorite artists that they would be familiar with. DMX from his first single, "Get at Me, Dog," to uh, uh, "Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind," "Up in Here, Up in Here." All those songs that he did before he passed. Rest in peace. So DMX will be one of my most listened to artists of the 2000s. Yeah.
That's a good answer. Good answer. Game Gear 22 asked about working on Unknown from Me from Sonic Adventure, but we already spoke about that. But they also do say, "Hi, this is from my friend who sadly can't be in the server. Dred Foxx. Who was the most fun teacher to work with while recording the vocals for any Parappa the Rapper song, whether it be one, Jamalami, or two? That is, if you did any joint recording sessions with anyone."
Say it again. Repeat the question.
Um,
I'm sorry.
Who was the most fun teacher to work with while recording the vocals for any Parappa the Rapper game? I'm not sure.
Rue.
Did you do? Was it Rue? I didn't know if you did any joint
It would be
sessions
Rue.
with anyone else.
Not really. Like they would record, and I would, we would record at different times. But Rue was
Okay.
always there with side by side, like from every session he's there. So Rue, and he's chop master onion. So he always influenced me to kick, punch, chop. It's all in the mind. So yeah, Rue definitely.
Awesome. That's really, yeah. I would personally agree as well. Let's have a look at this is on the Reddit page now. Trenga One asks, was Sony considering you for any other character besides Parappa? Who else would you have liked to be the voice of?
Good question. I think because Parappa was a main character, that any other character probably would not, I wouldn't say match up to, but probably wouldn't influence me as much as Parappa. But if I was to be another character in the game, would probably be probably my dad in the game.
Yeah.
Papa
Parappa, I think that's his name.
Papa Rapper. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who else? I think I think that would probably be the voice for Rapper's dad. Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. Keyblade Master Org 13 asks, how do you think Parappa would sound today, as in aged up?
As in who?
Aged up.
As an aged dog?
Yeah, if
wow.
Parappa was an adult, yeah.
Wow. If my voice wasn't so raspy right now, I would do it how I would think it would sound. But I don't want to take the voice. But it would
fair.
be a little, because at some age, all little boys, puppies, they voice changes,
Yeah.
And even though Parappa is a dog, he's still a little boy, a boy dog. So his voice would have got a little more bassy, but not aggressive bass. Like just a little more deeper.
Yeah.
I would say. Is this if it, what you're recording now is that the answer to these questions are being listened to as we're talking, or do you?
No, it'll be edited. This isn't live. This is pre-recorded.
Okay.
I'll edit it. It'll be on YouTube in a few days from now.
Because since my voice was a little raspy, if it was live, like I know we live, but I would do it now because since my voice is a little raspy, it would be like the rapper would probably talk a little like this, but he'll still have the same little pitch voice, but he'll still be a little different. Just be a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when I do the snippets for you, you'll hear me once my voice clears up. Because I tried it this morning when you first sent me the email. Once it clears up, then you hear the original Parappa. But right now, yeah.
That's okay. What else have we got? Uncreatively Bankrupt. These Reddit users have funny usernames, by the way. Uncreatively Bankrupt asks, what are his favorite songs from both Parappa games and maybe Jamalami 2? There's another favorite songs one, but this time it's from Parappa.
From Parappa would be the end, the ending song. Forget the name of it. Where they, I gotta believe, I gotta do what, I gotta achieve. The last song when they all on stage at the end of the game. That's my favorite right there. And then there's on Parappa, I think it's Parappa 2. It's like a slow, it's like a slow beat. I forget the name of the song. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But it's like a slow beat, and it's like he's talking like as if he think in the song. I
Is
can't
it Big?
I can't remember
where he gets really shrunk down.
That's it. Big, where he gets shrunk down. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Where he goes, he goes from big to small. And I like that because it's like that mellow beat that it's like, it kind of makes you think. You know what I'm saying? But it would be that would be the second favorite, but most favorite one is at the end of the game. I gotta believe, I gotta do what I gotta achieve. I like that one. Say ho, say ho, say ho. Oh, yeah, I like because we always on stage in the game. We're all partying at the same time, as we did live on stage. So yeah, that would be my favorite. Big and the last song. I gotta.
Sweet. Awesome. Shidoni, I think that's how you say your name. If it's not, I apologize. They want to know. Oh, I would love to know how Masaya-san found him and chose him for the role, and if he purposely brought a New York flavor to Parappa's voice.
Number one, Messiah found me through Chris Park. Okay. Chris Park had, I think, he had worked on a project that he was associated with. Messiah was the one that asked him, does he know anybody who can do voiceover? And then he got me. And of course, I gave the Parappa the New York flavor because I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So when he told me to be myself, I didn't have to pretend and make him sound like he was from a different country, or if he was from the South, or whether he was from the Midwest. It was the New York tone, but it was in the child verse. It wasn't like the street tone that you hear in the New York street. The aggressive, hey, what up, dude? Yeah, what's up, my, it was, but the New York was in me. That's just in me. So yes, I bought Brooklyn all over the world because I was born and raised, in New York and Brooklyn is where I was raised up at. And so I put Brooklyn. Yeah, I represented Brooklyn on there. I gave them. You can hear, if you compare it to other characters in other games, you can tell that this is a New York or a city guy, who did the voice.
Yeah. That makes total sense. I was going to quickly ask you, are you familiar with the Parappa 2 the demo disc that came out in Japan? That was like it came out with a McDonald's Happy Meal, and it had I think it was that and a demo of Ape Escape on one disc, and the first level was literally just stage 1 of Parappa 2, the burger one. All of it was just branded as McDonald's, and I just thought that was just the funniest thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a snippet of that as well. And I remember around, I don't know if this is around the same time, but there was I think it was a toy. One of these burger companies had a toy, a Parappa the Rapper toy in the kids meal, and it was what's the character? He looks like a wolf. A Bandicott. What's his name? He's another video game.
Crash Bandicoot.
Somebody. I'll say Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. It was him and Parappa in the commercial in Japan, and they were both promoting a burger company. I think it was McDonald's. I'm not sure. And then I also saw. I got them. Most of them are on my Where's the Parappa page. It was another. He was promoting another brand. So that was shocking to me. That you used to seeing Ronald McDonald, used to seeing like I said, Mickey Mouse or somebody. You see a video game, Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever it may be. It was I saw that. I definitely saw it. Yeah. I got to scroll down on my page and look because I know they haven't been deleted, but I got to go down a few pages because I got a lot of stuff. I used to like go on online, and wherever I would go pull up Parappa the Rapper, and anything that they had there, I would send it to myself on Facebook. So I got snippets and also, I don't know if anybody remembers, but you might remember. Parappa did a song with De La Soul, the rap
Yes.
group De La Soul. Yeah, and the female who did the vocals on this singing on it, her name is Dope. But De La Soul, I forget the name of it, but they had a video for it. And as I was a De La Soul fan at the time, I really wanted to be in the video, but they used the video game character. But it was a game that showed you how big Parappa the Rapper is. De La Soul did a song with Parappa the Rapper, and a lot of people, they took it down off Facebook. I mean, they took it down off YouTube, but I still had it somewhere on one of my pages. If I could find it, I'm going to put it back up, pull it back up. But that was an honor too, because I'm just sick. Somebody told me in my old neighborhood, it was like, yo, you on a song with De La Soul. And I said, I didn't rhyme with De La Soul. They said, no, they got you. They got them rhyming, and they put your character, the character you doing there. And I was like, oh, word. So that was, yeah. So I got a lot of snippets. I got a lot of things that, that made me say, wow, rap is really big. And when I'm looking at the commercials from Japan and everything in Japanese, but yet and still the voice of Parappa is an American character. And that's overwhelming at times. Like, wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. Like, people are, and, oh, and I wanted to ask you about, you might know about, I've been getting a lot of posts. Maybe you might have sent me one from, in, he's a character in Parappa 2, where they went to the movies. He's a bot, somebody bot. He's on the movie screen that Parappa them are in the movies watching. He's got his own thing going on. I can't remember what his name is.
I'm not sure.
Somebody sent me a link to that. But he took that character was Parappa and the whole crew, Sunny Funny and all of them. They at the movie theater, and on the movie screen is a superhero, and he's like not Joe Chin or nothing like that, but that's just some. He's a I forget his name, something. And anyway, I was kind of shocked because the guy who does that, he's real famous wherever he's at. I think he's from Japan or whatever, but he's very famous.
Wow.
And I'm saying to myself, he wouldn't be famous if it wasn't for Parappa the Rapper having him, the creators of Parappa having him on the movie screen. So I was wondering if he might want to reach out to me too, but I forget his name. I'll text you later and find out.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
probably send you a snapshot of him at some point. But he's
Yeah.
doing just like Lammy had her own game. This guy got his own little thing going on. And I'm like, okay, well, call me. You know what I'm saying? We could do something together. So, I like the network, so I'll see something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's funny. Some guys I know was like, they was talking about the game, and I was sitting right there. I don't really know them. They were sitting next to the game, and I didn't want to tell them who I was because a couple of times I've told people who I am, and I just get sworn. Like not sworn like people want to attack me like insane fans, but everybody wants to autograph. Sometimes I'm in motion, I can't really stop and do that because unless I got a shirt on that says with the character you asked me, oh, I like that game, and I say, well, I'm the voice behind that. I'm just like a regular dude, a regular guy, So so I heard them talking about it, and I just started giggling on the inside. I said, if I tell them right now that they're sitting right next to Parappa the Rapper, they'll probably want to just want my email address. They want to take all my information. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let that slide. But I thought about it afterwards, and I said, okay, and I know these guys, I know who they are. I don't know them personally. If I come in contact with them again, I'm gonna say, oh, by the way, that game that you love. You ever heard of Parappa the Rapper? Oh yeah, he's famous because Parappa the Rapper was watching him in the movie theater. I'm gonna say, well, I'm Parappa the Rapper, and they look at me like, yeah, right, yeah, not. I said, yes, I am. He's Dred Foxx. You can just Google me on Facebook, and they'll pull it up and see my picture. Like, oh wow, really? And then it's like, oh, and then they're gonna ask me a million questions. And when's the part 3 coming out? So I just kind of left it at that. But I'm gonna reach out next time I see you guys. Just let them know. You sit next to one of the an famous dude, right? That you would never know because I'm very humble, very humble. So that's what I'm at.
Awesome, awesome. There's one final question that comes from icy_wishbone_7606 or 7606. Would you like to voice Parappa if Sony makes a new game for you?
Of course. You can capitalize that. All letters, caps. Of course I would. They could do a 3, they could do a part 2.5, they can do a whole nother game, still under Sony, but they could do another game which features Parappa. You know what I'm saying? Like, say they want to introduce a new character to the world, and they say, okay, we want to do this game, but we want to have Parappa in it, but it's going to be this character's game, but we want Parappa to be like the old school, original that shows up in the game. Is like, hey, what's up? Remember me? It's like, hey, I remember you. We can kind of play off that. So I would definitely, of course, all they got to do, excuse me, they all know how to fight. All they got to do is call me. I'm always available. If anybody want to hire me for voiceover acting, I don't really do the advertisements that's on Facebook because a lot of these people are scammers. A lot of that's fake. So if you're a real person, I don't need to have an agent for me to find work. If you're a real person, you find me. And if you want me to do some work for you, I'll do some work for you. But I cannot alter or take the Parappa franchise. I can't do a game with Parappa and you changing the lyrics around and want me to use the same voice to talk about something different. I wouldn't disrespect Rodney like that. I wouldn't disrespect Messiah or anybody like that. That's just wrong. Because somebody's like, well, you famous. You could just do something else. I write you a script. It's like, no, I don't need you to write me nothing. If it didn't come from the originator, then I'm not going to. So if they willing or ready, able and willing to do it for Parappa the Rapper 3, I am right here, ready to go. I'm ready to go. I got my passport and I'm ready to go. That would be wonderful. If they want to bring Lammy back and she has a second game, they want to reintroduce her and they need me, I'm always available. I'm Parappa forever. So no matter what, if they want to do a cartoon in America, my voice is never going to change. It's where it's at now. So it's not like I'm going to get older and my voice was the same it was then as the same it is now. Just today, I'm just a little raspy, but other than that, definitely capital.
Awesome. Well, Dred, what can I say? Thank you so much for being on my show today and talking about all things Parappa. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you about everything in between to do with this little guy. Have you got anything you would like to promote, or where can we find you? Is there anything you can plug? Anything you want right here, right now?
Well, I don't have no merchandise. I'm not into anything right now.
Okay.
I still write. I still do a lot of different things. But just on the social tip, you can find me on Instagram. I don't really post that often, but my Instagram handle is Nappy Knots. That's spelled KNAPPI period KNOTZ. Nappy period Knots on Instagram. But I don't really post that much. But you can find that's my handle. And of course, Facebook, Dred Foxx, you can always find me there. And once you go on Facebook, I have an additional page called Where's Parappa? And that's a fan page if you want to hit me on that. But that's basically all I have right now. I'm not really, I'm chilling out right now, so I don't really have nothing to really promote. Just promote positivity, and I just want everybody to stay positive. So there's a lot going on in this world right now. Let's stay up and stay positive. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
Well, to you at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF. There will definitely be more Parappa content on my channel. Hopefully next year for the 30th anniversary of the franchise. You never know. I could cook something up. I don't know. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you wherever you find me next. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye. And cut.